Well, if you watched my video, you know that I'm an academic, and if you have not watched any of my video, my first question is why, and secondly, I'm an academic. Anyways, jokes apart, so I'm an academic, and just like many other academics, as part of my job and interest as well, is to conduct research, publish it in reputable journals, and follow through the whole process. So as part of that process, I submitted a paper, God knows, good few months ago, and a couple of weeks ago I received this email. Now, interesting enough, when I receive an email, I always try to find two words in there, just to, in the quick skim through process, which is, I'm pleased to inform you, or I regret to inform you, because I don't want to go on reading if it's not good news, right? So I received this email a couple of weeks ago from one of the journals where I submitted my paper, and it said, thank you for submitting your work, we appreciate that, but we regret to inform you. Now, I read that word and I shut down my computer completely, because I said to myself, well, surely it's not a good news, surely they have rejected my paper. But my question is, why? After putting myself through so much hard work day and night, conducting this research, writing it up and whatnot, why this is rejected? Anyways, a few weeks later, I mustered up the courage to read their feedback to see what was it all about. And to my surprise, it was not very significant in terms of what they said, that why the paper was not good. Now that made me very, very, very upset. You would notice the number of times I've used the word very, because I was that much upset. And I asked myself, where did I lack, or perhaps what really went wrong? And that brought back to me one instance in my school when I went ahead to participate in this table tennis tournament, but I was not selected because my game was not good. Apparently that's what they told me, but just so that later on I got selected in the team, so that was not a problem. But again, at the time I felt similar feelings, and many times you all would have felt something like that. Of course, the variation could be different. You could have felt extremely strong about feeling rejected, or very subtle, but we all have faced rejection at some point or the other in our lives. But the trouble is, we don't really hear too much about it. People don't talk about this in open. I mean, I haven't heard from many people talking about this openly, that yes, I have been rejected, I couldn't get through what I wanted to get, and that really makes it extremely hard and difficult to process that feeling. And so I said to myself, well, I do have this platform, although I haven't been making a lot of videos in recent times, but I thought, why don't I do my own research, process my own feelings, and then share my experience with whoever perhaps is going through that, or might go through in future, perhaps have gone through in the past, to share that it's normal and how we can really get through this feeling if you feel that way. So stay tuned. Hello everybody, this is Dr. Samreen. I'm an academic in the UK, and I also make these YouTube videos. You can check out my channel if you wish to. So yeah, today's video is about rejection. Now, what does rejection means? Every single time we feel not included or accepted, or we feel that we are not really considered for an opportunity, for example, we feel rejected. It's a very, very normal feeling, nothing big about it. However, the way we deal with it makes it really big. So for example, you would have faced a situation where in the school, perhaps, like I did, I might have gone through something. You might want it to be selected for a drama or a sports event or something like that, and you might not have been selected. But of course, at the time, we don't really understand what it is, and we don't really know how to process our feelings. So we just cry, we feel upset. We speak to our parents, perhaps our siblings, or whoever in our comfort zone, and we move on. But later on in life, as we grow older, we keep on facing rejection in one form or the other. For example, again, if you wanted to go to your favorite university or college, you might not have gotten that. Or you might wanted to apply for a certain job and you didn't get through. Some friends of yours may have left you without any apparent reason, and you would have felt like, oh my God, why me? Why I've not been accepted in that group? Or perhaps even in romantic situations where a romantic partner does not reciprocate the same feelings as you would have towards them. The feeling is pretty much same. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this, because as I told you early on, my recent experience with my paper not being accepted for publication. Now, the minute it happens, how do we feel? We feel that, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm worthless. why me? And perhaps maybe I'm not as per their standard, or I'm not that good that they would accept me, or perhaps wouldn't consider me. And you go through this very strong feelings of a loss, or a feeling of grief, and you don't know who to turn to. I mean, yes, you could talk to your friends and family, and it always helps immensely, but at the end of the day, you have to experience, or you have to process those feelings yourself. So what we can do to process that feeling? So first of all, extremely important in any situation in life, accept the reality. If something like that has happened in your life, or perhaps anything which is not very pleasant, the first point towards healing is to acknowledge that this has happened. Many times we fail to do that. I mean, if you are somebody like me, I struggle immensely with accepting the reality. In fact, I'm a huge fan of cricket. So if I'm watching a cricket game and if my team is losing, I would either switch off the telly, or even if I'm being forced to watch it, because sometimes people would say, well, you should watch it, you should accept the reality. So I would still bring myself to watch it, but I would mute the sound, so I don't really know, I'm not listening to the commentary to see what's going on. Anyway, so yes, first of all, accept the reality. If something like that has happened, we have to acknowledge that this has happened, this is the reality, I cannot change this right now, so what can I do to make it better for myself? So for example, like me, I mean, when I received that email, my first reaction was shut down my computer. I did not want to think about that. I did not want to face it, but that's not the right approach. You need to accept that this has happened. Take your time, whatever time you need, take your time, but come with the terms that this has happened and you need to move on from it. Sooner the better. The second thing is, which I really did, was look at that situation objectively. And what does that mean? That means that set aside your emotions and then observe that why it has happened. So for example, again, in my situation, when I faced that rejection, I said to myself, well, okay, I mean, it didn't happen there and then. Of course, I've learned it in a few weeks' time. I said to myself, okay, wait, why this has happened? I need to look at it objectively, and I should not take it personally, because that's the first reaction or response we humans have towards rejection, is that we think it's all about me. It's personal. It's me, therefore this has happened. But the main point here is look at it from a third person's perspective, that what has gone wrong in it, if anything, what could have done better. So in my case, I know that in that paper, few things could have been better. So I need to work on that now. And so it's very important to look at it objectively and not take things personally. It's not about you, really. The third thing, which I really would encourage you to do, stop having that negative self-talk. Yes, you heard me right. You see, when you face something like that, as I said earlier, it could be of any level. The first thing we do, we take it personal. First thing we do, we don't accept it, or we take it personal. And the third thing, we start talking to ourselves in the spiral mode, telling ourselves that we are not good. I'm not worth it. I don't know how to do it. In a negative way, yes. If you would say that, oh, you could do that to improve yourself, absolutely you could. But there's a different way and tone to talk to yourself about that. If you tell yourself that you're not good and you can't do it really, and you gotta give up, that's the wrong approach. Because what happens, one thing leads to the other, and you just go on in that spiral mode, which is very, very bad for yourself, for your health and well-being. So you need to, the minute you realize that you are putting yourself through that, you are engaging in a negative self-talk, you need to shut down your mind at the same time and tell yourself, no, I'm not taking it. I'm not engaging in a negative self-talk with myself. So I need to move on from that point. The next thing is, don't blame yourself. Instead, use this opportunity for self-growth. You see, none of us are perfect. Yeah, some of us do think we are, but we are not perfect, right? So if we are not perfect, we have our flaws, we have our shortcomings, and how we can improve ourselves. It could be in our personal lives or professional lives. For example, if you have faced rejection in a personal settings, you gotta look at yourself to see how you can improve your personality, how can you improve your traits or your attitude among your friends or family, whatever the situation is. And professionally, you need to look at what skills you can improve and how can you improve. So if next time you would face it, Because trust me, we all gonna face rejection at some point or the other. And if you tell me you have never, I don't believe you. But if you have faced that, then you can't really blame yourself. Instead, learn those skills, improve your attitude, and move on from that point. And finally, keep putting yourself out there. Never ever fear about the rejection, or perhaps failure for that matter, because I mean, even in my case, I was upset and I was disappointed and the rest of it. But since I've been going through this process and telling myself, okay, if I stop there, what's the point? I cannot and should not stop there. So I'm going to submit my paper again, and of course I will report here to you guys if it was accepted or not. And so it's very important for us to keep putting ourselves out there, because if nothing else, we would learn from the experience. We might do it even better next time, and we would enjoy the journey of learning. And trust me, all the enjoyment is in the journey. Well, I hope this video was helpful to you to some extent. I have tried my best to share my experience, what I have gone through, or the way I have dealt with it in my personal life. So if you find this video helpful, do share it with your friends as well, because if we can help even one person, that'll be great. Stay tuned up until the next video, and I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.